Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay. Well, today we're tackling product and service strategies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, all those choices companies make about what they sell, what stays, what gets kind of
Yeah,
spruced up, and what just gets tossed out.
makes sense.
We've got this great article, Product and Service Strategies.
Okay.
It's actually part two of the series from Procure for Marketing.
Ah,
And I don't know about you, but I always find it so fascinating to peek behind the curtain and see how those decisions are made.
yeah, for sure.
It affects all of us as consumers in the end, right?
Absolutely.
So before we jump into all the details, can you give us the big picture?
Yeah.
Why are these strategies so important for businesses?
Well, it's not just about making stuff. Right. It's about making the right stuff and in the right way.
Right.
So it really meets customer needs and helps them achieve those big business goals.
Okay, so the article talks about this thing called product portfolio management. And when I read that, I kind of thought about it like managing your own money. Like you don't just buy stocks without checking how your current investments are doing, right?
Exactly. It's very similar. Companies have to assess how each product or service is doing, just like you would with your investments.
So are there different
Yeah.
categories?
You can think of it like this. Some products are like star players, bringing in the big bucks.
Uh,
Others are solid performers, they're doing okay.
yeah,
And then, unfortunately, there are those that are kind of dragging the whole portfolio down.
right.
So that analysis really helps companies decide, okay, what are we going to do next?
So what happens when a product's kind of a drag? As much as I love trying new things, not everything can be a hit.
Yeah.
And the article mentions the three strategies.
Okay.
Let's start with product line extension. What is that exactly?
So think about your favorite beverage company. Let's say they introduce a new flavor or maybe even a different size of an existing drink. That's product line extension. Basically, they're trying to appeal to a wider range of tastes, maybe different needs, while still using that, familiar brand recognition.
So they're saying, hey, you love our classic cola. Well, now try it cherry, lime, whatever you're into.
Exactly. Keep things fresh, exciting, but building on what already works.
Smart. Okay, what about product diversification? That sounds like a company's really stepping outside of their comfort zone.
Right, this one's a bit riskier. Imagine that same beverage company. Now they decide to launch a line of healthy snacks.
Whoa, totally different.
Totally. That's diversification, moving into a whole new category.
Hmm. Why would they do that?
Well, it lets them tap into new markets, spread the risk a bit. They're not just relying on one product,
I see.
And of course, keeps them relevant to those changing consumer trends.
Okay, so we've talked about extending and diversifying, which leaves product elimination. And this one I think is a bit more emotional, maybe.
It can be. Sometimes a product just isn't working. The sales are bad, production costs are too high, or maybe consumer tastes have just changed.
Yeah.
So companies have to make those tough calls. Pull the plug, even if it's hard. That way they can free up those resources for more promising things.
Makes sense, but I can imagine it's not easy to say goodbye to a product, especially if there's history or some sentimental value there.
It's like saying goodbye to an old friend. But in business, you gotta focus on what works and cut your losses when you need to.
True. But this isn't just about tangible products, right?
Right. The article also talks about service portfolio management, which uses similar principles.
Okay.
So think about service innovation, always tweaking and improving to stay ahead of the curve.
Makes sense.
And then there's service bundling. That's your classic internet, phone, and TV package, all from the same provider.
Oh yeah, those bundles. They're everywhere. I always wonder how they decide what to package together.
Well, bundling can be beneficial for both sides. Customers get convenience, maybe a lower price, and providers can increase their revenue.
Right.
And then you can't forget about customer-centric service design.
What's that?
Well, it's really all about making sure the service truly meets the customer's needs, goes above and beyond.
Makes sense. So it sounds like managing those portfolios, whether products or services, is like a constant balancing act, right?
Absolutely, it's an ongoing process.
Let's say a company has a great portfolio. Everything's running smoothly,
Okay.
but they're getting lost in the noise of the marketplace.
Yeah.
That's where having a solid brand strategy comes into play, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Why is that so important? Especially today, when consumers are just bombarded with choices.
It's crucial. A strong brand, it's kind of like a beacon, right? Cuts through all that clutter and helps consumers make sense of all the options out there.
So you're saying brands need, like, a personality?
Kinda, yeah. You
Huh?
know how we tend to gravitate towards people whose personality and values just click with us?
Right, right.
Brands are the same. They need to connect with consumers on that level.
So it's all about that brand positioning, like the article mentioned.
Exactly. Defining what a brand stands for, what makes it unique, how it's different from all the others. They're carving out a space in the consumer's mind.
Okay, so more than just a logo or a catchy slogan.
Way more. It's about the whole experience.
Got it. So we often see brands trying to, stretch their reach, introduce new products. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's a total flop.
Yes, brand extension.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it can be a great way to leverage that existing reputation, that trust they've built. But there's a catch.
I bet there is.
The new product, it has to align with the brand's core values, its promises. If it doesn't, it can confuse people.
Dilute the brand.
Exactly. Imagine a luxury car company suddenly starts selling, I don't know, budget flip-flops.
That'd be weird.
Right. It just
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense. Could even hurt their image.
Okay, makes sense. So moving on, marketing mix optimization. The article made it sound like a recipe.
It kind of is. Think of a chef, carefully balancing all the ingredients. In marketing, your ingredients are product, price, place, and promotion.
Right. I remember those from Marketing 101.
The classics.
But it's not just about, like, making a great product and hoping people buy it.
Yeah. Companies have to stay on top of things, updating and refining products, as the article says, based on trends, customer feedback, all that.
Smartphones, for example, they're constantly being updated.
Exactly. Got to adapt to stay relevant.
What about price? Is it just about picking a number and sticking with it?
Oh, no, no. There are all sorts of dynamic pricing strategies out there. You can adjust prices based on demand, competition, even the time of day.
Really? So like how Uber prices surge during rush hour?
Exactly. Or how airline tickets are more expensive during peak season.
Wow, never thought about it that way. Okay, so next is place, right?
Yep. It's all about making sure products and services are available where your target customers are. Online, in stores, pop-up shops, you name it.
So meeting customers where they are.
Precisely.
And last but not least, promotion. The creative part.
Right. This is where you're communicating the value of your product or service, using a mix of channels like digital ads, social media, even traditional media.
So it's not just about blasting your message everywhere.
Nope, got to be strategic.
Yeah.
Tailor your message to different customer segments, speak their language.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the marketing mix, but there's one more ingredient that's been like top of mind for a lot of people lately.
Oh, yeah.
Sustainability.
Right.
It seems like every company is like shouting about their sustainability efforts.
They are.
But is it genuine? Or just a marketing tactic?
It's a good question. Greenwashing, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, incorporating sustainability into those product and service strategies, it's becoming more and more crucial, ethically, but also for long-term business success.
So consumers are actually paying attention.
They are. They're looking for brands that align with their values, especially when it comes to the environment and social responsibility.
So how can we tell the difference between real efforts and like empty promises?
Well, the article outlines a few key strategies. Let's start with sustainable product design.
Yeah.
It's all about considering that environmental impact throughout the entire life cycle of a product, from design to disposal.
So using eco-friendly materials.
That's part of it, yeah. Minimizing waste during production, designing products that can be easily recycled, all that good stuff.
Makes sense. What else?
Ethical sourcing and production, so ensuring fair labor practices, responsible sourcing, all along the supply chain.
Ah, so it's not just about making a green product, but making sure the whole process is ethical.
Exactly. And transparency is key here. Consumers want to know where the products come from, how they're made.
And they'll support companies that are doing things the right way.
Absolutely. And the final piece of the sustainability puzzle is transparency and reporting.
Okay.
It's not enough to just be sustainable. You got to be open about your efforts.
Show your work, basically.
Exactly. Publish sustainability reports, get certifications, just be honest about the challenges you face. It builds trust.
Makes sense. But even with all the best sustainability practices, the business world just seems to be changing so fast.
It is.
How do companies keep up? Avoid becoming, dinosaurs.
Right. The article talks about innovation and adaptation. Those are crucial for survival these days.
I guess it's like that saying, adapt or die.
Pretty much. More like innovate or become irrelevant.
Yeah. So what are some strategies companies can use?
Well, first, agile development.
Okay.
It's this methodology that actually came from software development, but it's really useful in all sorts of industries. It's all about being flexible, adapting to feedback, making changes as needed.
So not just sticking to a plan no matter what.
Exactly. You got to be able to pivot. Then there's customer co-creation.
What's that?
Well, companies are realizing that their customers are a great source of insights and ideas.
Makes sense.
So they're involving them in the development process, getting feedback, running beta tests, even crowdsourcing ideas.
So it's like a built-in innovation team.
You could say that. And finally, there's the whole world of technology integration.
Oh.
AI, blockchain, the Internet of Things, all these new technologies are transforming how businesses operate.
Right. It's like a whole new world of possibilities.
Absolutely. Companies that embrace these technologies, they can really enhance their products and services, streamline their operations, even create completely new value propositions.
Wow. So we've covered a lot: portfolio management, branding, marketing, sustainability, innovation. It's a lot for companies to handle.
It is.
What are some of the key takeaways you think are most important for our listeners?
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. But I think, the big takeaway is that successful businesses, they're not just sitting back and reacting.
Right.
They're actively shaping things
Hmm.
through their products, their services, building strong brands, getting that marketing mix just right,
Hmm.
and being innovative, really embracing sustainability. It's a constant evolution.
And it's not just for companies, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that these ideas can apply to us individually too.
Absolutely. It's like we're all CEOs of our own lives, in a way.
I like that.
We're making decisions about, where to invest our time, our energy.
So figuring out our strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. What are your star player skills? The ones that really make you stand out.
Right.
Then there are those solid performers, dependable, valuable skills.
Yeah.
And then maybe there are some areas where, you need to level up a bit. Maybe even let go of some skills that aren't serving you anymore.
So doing a personal SWOT analysis.
Exactly. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
Okay, but it's more than just skills,
Yeah.
right? There's also our personal brand.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Just like companies invest in building a strong brand, we have to think about what we stand for, what makes us unique.
So our values, how we communicate.
Exactly. Showcasing our expertise, our experiences, it's about crafting that story that resonates with others and really sets you apart.
Love that. Building a personal brand story.
And just like those businesses, we got to adapt to stay competitive,
Yeah.
right? Keep learning, growing, adding new skills to our repertoire.
It's like being a lifelong learner.
Exactly. Always seeking out new knowledge, experiences, embracing a growth mindset, being open to those new possibilities.
Well, I think this has been a great deep dive. Definitely given us all a lot to think about.
It has.
Those principles that drive success in business, they can really apply to our own lives too.
Absolutely. Help us overcome challenges, seize those opportunities, and ultimately achieve our goals.
So, to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of product and service strategies. We hope you found it insightful. And as always, we encourage you to take these ideas and see how they might fit into your own journey.
Yeah, good stuff.
Whether you're running a business or just figuring out your next career move, remember those key ingredients: strategic thinking, adaptability, and a commitment to continuous learning. Those are crucial for success in any field. And be sure to tune in to our next deep dive, where we'll be exploring topic of next episodes, because it's going to be a fascinating one. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.